All right, welcome to another edition of the Sports Guys, a special episode for you guys today. We are going to be diving into something that we love. I look back, Robbie, to see how many times I had played this fantasy football, and this is the 25th year. The first time I ever played it was in the year 2000 on ESPN.com, and I didn't know what I was doing. The first couple of years, I was pretty inexperienced, and then I think it was 2002, I won for the first time when I had Marshall Falk, and he was just completely dominant that year. They had the greatest show on turf, and I've been hooked ever since. I just love playing fantasy with my friends, and I love our family league that we play in.
Mm-hmm.
So how you doing, Robbie?
I'm doing great. So excited for football to be here. In addition to that, so excited for the fantasy football draft and sort of the uh, the marriage between football and fantasy leagues that sort of make you interested in games you would probably not watch normally. Follow players that you wouldn't normally care too much about, maybe in cities you've never been to.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of draws you into more of that world, and it's really fun to put those two together.
You know, when they married football with fantasy with sports betting, those three together,
Yeah, it's
the
powerful.
interest level is way higher than it used to be. I mean, people are watching games they never would have watched before.
Right.
They'll watch Raiders Bears because they've got a wide receiver going or something like that.
Right.
So have you seen that happen for you? Have you found you have much wider interest with more games?
No question. I'll sit down and watch two teams play that I would not normally be watching. And I'll be on the edge of my seat because, I'm playing somebody I really want to beat in our league, or I'm feeling like my team's shaky right now. I need a big performance. So I'm rooting for some obscure wide receiver that I had to pick up because it's a bye week and I have injuries. Um, yeah, it makes you care a lot more than you should and a lot more than you normally would, and that is fun. The marriage between those two is unbelievable, and so I think that's why we enjoy it so much, and we've been doing it a long time, and that's why it really has enhanced the sport as a viewing experience. I mean, think about it: football and all sports are entertainment. They compete for the same entertainment dollars that the movie industry competes for, that the music industry competes for, and sports does a really good job of entertaining people, and I think football does the best of all of them.
Hmm.
That's debatable for sure. That's a whole nother show, but I think
Yeah.
football gives it a lot of juice, and then you add fantasy football and sports betting, and it just makes it so deep and rich. All the different storylines and research, and
Hmm.
it makes us doing this podcast so much more fun.
Hmm.
It really does, and there's fun stuff all year round, but it certainly is one of the highlights is when fantasy football kicks up. We have our draft, you have the Hall of Fame game, and you go into the preseason games, and you're trying to see if anyone got injured, and
Hmm.
you just it's just a big buildup that happens, and you waited all summer for it, so it's pretty cool.
That is cool. So I told you I became aware of fantasy football 25 years ago in the year 2000. When did you become aware of it? When did you play it for the first time? Do you remember?
I do. It was around 1998, I think. I
Hmm.
was in I was in West Palm Beach with my roommates, and we did our own fantasy football. We
Yeah, you did
calculated.
it offline, right? Did it offline.
Yeah, I did
Hmm.
it on a pad of paper, and every week I would have to hand calculate everybody's scores.
Hmm.
It was really cool, but it was a lot of work.
That is cool.
Yeah, so I think our first league was like 4 or 6 people. I don't even remember, and that was a lot of work because you had to calculate all the scores.
Hmm.
There were fewer games back then in terms of no, not fewer games. There were fewer nights that football was on.
Hmm.
Thursday night football didn't exist yet, and Monday night did, and of course Sunday was always. So it was Sunday and Monday,
Sunday, Monday. Yeah.
and so it was easier to kind of keep up with. Now there's just takes a lot more keeping your eye on it. But yeah, that was a lot of fun back then. We
That is
loved it.
very
We took
cool.
it real seriously, and we did all the work. It was
Mhm.
hilarious.
Very cool. Yeah, I've done a couple times, not online and physical. There's still a league I'm in right now in Charlotte where we meet and we do the old way of doing it up on a board and everything like that. It's a lot of fun, but most of my fantasy play the last 25 years has been online on one of the different formats. So it's interesting. I did a little history research on fantasy football. It goes back to 1972, the year you were born, and there are three different guys that claim they invented it, and they're in
Hmm.
different states of the country, and nobody's been able to solve which of the three of them invented it in each of the three different states. But it happened in 1972, so pretty cool to think about all those years. All those
That was
guys
a
had to
good
move,
year, wasn't it?
put it up. Yeah, it was. It was.
I don't
And all those
remember it.
think about all those years those guys had to put their picks up on the board at the draft,
Yeah. Yeah.
and somebody had to be the commissioner, and had to take care of everything and administer the
Yeah.
rules and all that. And now, of course, we have just these very high tech tools that we can do it in.
In
So, any
seconds. Yeah, you can be playing with somebody around the world.
that's right.
It's
So
wild.
let's talk about how many times have you won it? How many times you come in second? What has typically been your success ratio? What's been your strategy that's been the best?
I think I win it maybe every 3 or 4 years, something like that.
Hmm.
I've won it a bunch of times. Uh, I haven't come in second that many times. Normally,
Hmm.
I'm either bounced out
Hmm.
or I win the whole thing. So uh, maybe maybe once or twice I've come in second.
Hmm.
And then I've made the playoffs probably maybe 70% of the time,
Hmm.
75% of the time, something like that.
That's
And it
good.
just depends. Like if you're playing in a 12-person league or a 10-person, the skill level of the people. So our league has a mixed skill levels, so it's really
Hmm.
fun. But there's definitely um, some good players in there with us, and
Hmm.
then my boys are in there. Last year was their first time, so there's a very big variety. And I know out there you can have it super competitive, or you can have it just really
Hmm.
family oriented and just
Hmm.
fun, and everything in between. A lot of people have a lot of things riding on it, and some people just it's bragging rights, So
So 2 years ago, I won our family league, and that was my fourth time winning it in 25 years. So I guess 4 out of
Mhm.
25. I've come in second three times, which almost is worse than anything because you're right
Yeah,
there. But
yeah.
have made the playoffs around 70% of the time. That sounds about right. And I think that that's really the key is how to get yourself in position so you can make those final four, which is essentially what the playoffs are.
Hmm.
So you have a theory that's really interesting.
I do.
I want to run it by people and drop us a comment about Rob's theory, but give us your theory about how you want to be entering the playoffs.
So the way the football fantasy leagues are set up, they mirror the real games, the real league, and the real season, right? However, this regular season ends well before the real regular season ends, and the playoffs are the last games of the year. And so what happens is the teams that have everything locked up, most important things locked up, like going to the playoffs, etc. They'll start resting their players. They'll start
Mhm.
changing the way they're doing things. They'll have a lot more slower pace, more just grinding the ball on the ground, safer. Try not to have injuries
And
and
resting guys towards the
and
end.
resting
Mhm.
guys and sitting
Mhm.
your stars. And
Load management.
so what happens is usually, almost always, the person who led the season throughout the year, the fantasy league, going into the playoffs, his team falls apart because his or her scores plummet below the norm. And everyone's drop a little because every team experiences some sort of letting up. Oh, his groin's a little sore, or he pulled a calf. And normally he'd play, but this is a meaningless game, so he's going to rest. And that hurts your lineup. Now, if you squeak into the playoffs, you normally have teams that are really fighting still at the end, and you tend to be the champ. So normally the the person who's in second or third, and or fourth is going to win. And usually the guy or girl who goes in the heavy favorite always loses.
You told me that theory 10 years ago, and I kind of wasn't sure about it, but I've been watching,
Always
and
been true.
it's
It's
happened
always,
every single time.
yeah.
You know, 2 times Ashton, my son, has been leading our family league 2 years in a row. He was just unstoppable the first,
Yeah.
like, 10 or 12 weeks, and he was just
I think
crushing.
I beat him 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and he had the better team.
He
But
wa he was incredible, and then you predicted, you said, "I think he's gonna end up going down because when he gets into the
yeah,
playoffs, all those
it's
guys will
exactly
be
what
out."
happened.
Yeah.
Because
So,
he clearly had the better team. It's just all of a sudden Josh Allen's resting and all these guys are resting, and you can't replace that kind of production.
any other theories you've seen work for you in the last 25 plus years?
Um, I think there's a tremendous amount of variety in the approach. So you have to find one that works for you. But what I will say is, when I look back on a season, the amount of work I put into maintaining and managing my team was a clear reflection of how well it did. So
I think that's it.
there's times where I won the league because not because I had the best team and I clearly didn't have the best draft, but I kept on top of the waiver wire and I kept reading about a rookie who's about to get his shot, and I'd pick him up because I had an injury and I freed up a spot, grab some guy no one's heard of, and he starts to go into the game. And the next thing you know, the starting running back in front of him goes down. Now he's their starter and he goes crazy. It's happened so many times, and
So many times.
it's it's
I
it's
think that's
it's less
almost more.
skill. It's less skill and it's more time commitment and buy-in that you're gonna do this.
I think a lot of people get into fantasy, especially the ones that are new at it, and they think they can draft their team on draft night and then just let it roll. Just let it hang.
No.
And what they don't realize is, I think even more important than your theory about going into playoffs in fourth, third, second, is the management of your team week to week,
Yeah.
because the team you start with on week 1 and the team you end with on week 14 is so different. It's
Yeah.
completely like half the team is turned over. You'll
Mhm.
end up with a different defense. You'll end up with a different kicker. You'll have a different tight end.
How many
You'll have
times?
2 wide receivers hurt. You'll have
Yeah.
maybe even a different quarterback. It just, the management of it on a weekly basis, and I know you like to write notes and things like that. It's just really important. You have to manage your
Yeah.
team every week.
I'd say at least 2 out of 3 times, whoever was picked first is usually out within the first 4 weeks.
Mhm.
And, they the person who picked that player is so in trouble now because
Mhm.
they use so much draft capital
Right. And if
to
you
pick.
play for money, like on DraftKings, we were just talking about DraftKings daily fantasy and their weekly
Yeah,
fantasy. If you play for money, you're going to go the next step even beyond that. You're going to look at things like whether they have a stout run defense. You know, maybe I won't start my running back that week because I'm playing against a really stout run defense,
right.
and I'll play somebody else who's playing against a really, porous run defense.
Or you switch out your
So
quarterback because they have intense, pass,
that's rush.
pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't just let it run. It's just the opposite. You actually are always tweaking it. You're always changing your lineup. You're even sometimes changing your lineup on Saturday because there's an
Yeah,
injury in practice, or there's something that
a
happens. Somebody tweaks
and
tweaks their ankle.
I'll tell you this, basketball, you've signed me up a couple years for basketball. We've done it, and, it's just so different because the amount you have to keep up with that is unmanageable almost. The NFL is perfect. It's just enough injury reports and things to process and players that are on waivers and whatever. But at the same time, it's the four days a week that you got to look at it. You need to look at it every day, but you really need to make moves, usually going into these 4 specific days, which
Mhm.
is Thursday night football, Sunday, Monday. I don't know why I said 4,
The
3.
NBA one is not only an everyday occurrence, it's
Every
a
night. Yeah.
multiple times a day
Yeah.
kind of occurrence. You have to look at it. So, yeah,
So
it's much
while
more.
we enjoy the NBA, fantasy, NBA, uh, is not basketball is not even close. Like nothing is even close in terms of fantasy as
Mhm.
football. It's the perfect pairing.
It is. It is. It's just so much fun. It's such a blast. Such a great thing to do with your family. I love that everyone in our family loves it. All of our friends enjoy it. How many leagues are you planning to be in this year?
I think I'm just gonna do one, but I might do a second one. I try not to dilute it too much, and I'll tell you one thing for me that is going to be challenging is I have 3 other little guys with a team, and I'm gonna have to help them a lot. So,
Mhm.
uh, that's about all I can handle.
Mhm. It's
It's like
true.
having 4 teams in our same league.
Gotta get your lineup in by Thursday afternoon kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, and
I'm
they're
usually I'm usually in 3 or 4 online ones, and then, of course, I have my physical one, that I do with my friend Alan who runs it.
Mhm.
So, I'll probably be in 3 or 4 this year, which is
Cool.
perfect for me. Anything beyond that, I just can't manage it. So,
Yeah, I can't remember which one I have the running back on, and, I
right.
thought you know, I
The
thought
other
I
thing
had
I wanna tell you is that, there's guys, you would want Patrick Mahomes if you were starting a team, but he's not a premier fantasy guy,
no.
and Tom Brady was the same way. Nobody wanted Tom Brady because he
Yeah.
wasn't all about padding his stats, whereas what you want in fantasy is you want the guys who are great regular season players, the guys that dominate in the
Mhm.
regular season. You couldn't care less about the playoffs. You want the guys who pad their stats. They get you 300 yards and 3 touchdowns every week. That's what you want.
Like Lamar Jackson.
And Josh Allen.
He's Yeah, and Josh Allen. They're
I've
perfect
won
for fantasy football.
I've literally won twice with Josh Allen.
I know. It's
So
true.
yeah, he's
But
one of those
but if you're
you
trying to
always
win the
root.
whole thing, those are not your quarterbacks.
No, it's a different sport. Completely
I
different,
mean,
so
one of these years, one of them can break through, but it's not a shoe. They're not shoe-ins for walking away with the Lombardi Trophy.
I've had
Um,
Mahomes a couple of years, and he's decent, but he just doesn't get the numbers the other guys do.
no,
I'd say he's not even really in the top 15 in
no.
terms of stats. So, I've had him a couple times, and I ended up the second half of the year having him on my bench. I just didn't use him. So,
So one thing I tend to go for in my strategy is I go for depth. So I almost put in more energy and focus on the later rounds
mhm,
because there's a lot of talent out there if you're paying attention.
mhm, mhm,
And looking ahead a decent amount gives you the opportunity to get some good value when everyone
mhm,
else is kind of tanking and picking like 2 kickers and whatever else. Yeah, depth is huge because as people start to go down, players go down in real life, and you start to drop guys and waiver wire and all that. Um, you tend to get stronger as other teams are dropping around you.
mhm. Obviously, the draft is very important. I'm not
Yes,
discounting it.
it is.
And how much prep do you do for the draft? Like, how much are you gonna put into it?
Depends on the year. I would say a decent amount this year, um, because I have to really know the players because I have to operate quickly to get all 4 of our drafts um, the draft picks in
Mhm,
in a timely manner. It's gonna be challenging. I want to make
mhm,
sure each team that I help that I advise does well and has a strong team and has a shot at winning the whole
mhm.
thing. And
Absolutely.
so
So, guys, tonight we're going to break down the fantasy football position rankings. We're going to take you through every position. We're going to break them down, how they're ranked preseason heading into this fantasy football draft. If you're thinking about doing a fantasy football league, we have our family one on Yahoo, which is a really good free site. There's also ESPN. There's also CBS Sports has a good one. NFL.com has a great site and a really good football league. And of course, DraftKings, if you want to play for money, you can play on DraftKings, and they've got the daily and the weekly format. So you got all kinds of options at your fingertips if you're thinking about playing.
Mhm.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look. All right, let's take a moment to give a shout out to our sponsor for this evening, and that is DraftKings. DraftKings is one of the best online sports betting sites. They're also a daily fantasy site. So if you love fantasy football, you can go on there. You can set up a league. You can play on a daily fantasy league. You can play on a weekly one, a monthly one. They have all different ways to do it. How you doing, Robbie?
Doing great, doing great. Just really excited to be partnering with DraftKings. It's so fun this time of year. It's my favorite is with football season coming. Just to dabble a little bit, putting some money on some games, and put a little juice in there. You know what I mean? Get
Yeah.
a little excited about something. You grab onto a couple pieces of information. You think you know what's going to happen, and you go ahead, do some parlays.
Yeah,
And
whether we're a small time bettor, which you and I are,
yeah,
or a big time bettor, we put 20 bucks or 40 bucks on a game and it just gives it that little added juice. You're right.
love it.
So what do you think about
They do-
DraftKings, fantasy leagues too? That's another really cool area to try.
Yeah, they do a great job. I was combing through there looking for information, and I was looking at their lists. They got some lists that of some of the players in there that do their fantasy league. So
Hmm.
I think that's a really cool feature, and it's a really neat company. They're doing it
It is.
right.
They do a really great job. I really enjoy using DraftKings. So guys, go to DraftKings.com or you can download the DraftKings app and set up your account today. There's a 100% bonus up to $100, which is a great deal. Go ahead and take advantage of that if you're a new customer and enjoy DraftKings for this football season.
Yeah, they always have some good deals, so keep your eye out and let it add some fun to your football season too.
We'll see you next time.
See.
All right, so this is our fantasy football position rankings 2025 season preview. This is our episode 72. You can see three of the premier guys that are going to go very early in the first round. And the first one is Jamar Chase. Second one is Bijan Robinson. And third is Jaden Daniels. And then you can see a lot of the brands I was talking about earlier. All of these online sites have fantasy football leagues you can get into. All of them, most of them are free. And then, of course, DraftKings is for money. So, any thoughts about this kind of thought process the last 10 years about going for wide receivers and running backs first?
Yeah, I think there's a there's a limitation on the number of talented wide receivers and running backs that are going to get big numbers every game. And I think there are more quarterbacks who will do decently. So that devalues, the quarterback. When I started in fantasy football a long time ago, the quarterback was a much more important position for fantasy football.
Mm-hmm.
But in PPR leagues and you know points per catch or reception, that valued increased for the wide receivers. So there's a less emphasis on running back now. So when you find a team that really values the running back, you have to get one of those,
And
few
there's only like
guys.
5 or 6 or maybe 7 total running backs that
Right.
are really going to consistently deliver for you every week.
Yeah.
So that's why
A lot of
they go
teams
so
move to
high.
the
Yeah.
tandem running back
Hmm.
system, which really
Hmm.
devalued each person by themselves. The
Hmm.
team, appreciated them a lot, but would rotate them in and out so they stayed fresh, but it hurt
Hmm.
their numbers. So, the value of a running back who actually gets the ball a lot these days is high because they're
Hmm.
they're a, they're a very rare commodity.
That's right. That's right. And so what has ended up happening, what's so interesting every year that we go draft, the quarterbacks are getting drafted later and later. It used to drop to the second round, then the third round. Then
Hmm.
last year was the fourth. This year they're saying the fifth or sixth, or most of the quarterbacks are going to be going. So thoughts
I was
about
hearing.
that?
I've been
Is
I've
there?
been reading a lot of strategy reports, and a lot of them are saying seventh round for your quarterback.
Seventh round.
I
Wow.
don't I don't subscribe to that. I think that's too late. I'm thinking more like fifth round.
I think fifth at the latest.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to get two running backs,
Hmm.
a wide receiver, and then your quarterback, or two
Hmm.
wide receivers, a running back, and your quarterback, and then back to running back. So
Hmm.
you need to get those big five in place. And then sometimes there's early runs on tight ends because there's a very small number of them. But generally
Hmm.
speaking, the value of them is lower because even the best ones don't score as much. So, you think of Brock Bowers, for instance, and you think of him as a scoring machine and of course, and a points machine in fantasy, but he only had 1,194 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Hmm.
So for a tight end, that's amazing. But for a wide receiver, that would be just a good year, like decent,
Solid. Yeah. Hmm.
solid. So if you have an amazing wide receiver, it's way more valuable than a Brock Bowers.
Hmm.
But if your team your team, there's not too many players more valuable than Brock Bowers. So it's fantasy football is a different animal, but it's related to regular football. But
It's
there
true.
are some different strategies in building a real team versus building a fantasy team.
100%.
Yep.
So let's look at the top 25 fantasy prospects this year. So Jamar Chase is number one. They're projecting him to have the highest point total at the end of the year. The second highest really shocked me, and that's Bijan Robinson. Do you have
Yeah.
any thought about why he's the number one running back off the board in a lot
No.
of leagues? And
Almost
what is it about him?
almost everywhere I turned in almost every report, people were doing um, uh, the listing of their drafts. They were doing dummy drafts, etc. All of them had Bijan way higher than I would have put him. So I don't have a real great answer as to why. I mean, he had some good numbers last year, but he had 1,456 yards, 14 touchdowns, which is really, really good.
He's going to be productive, but I just don't see the Atlanta offensive line to be that good. I think that they're going to throw a lot. I don't know. He's
Yeah, I
very
think
good.
they're going to be
He's very
one
good.
dimensional. Kyle
D-
Pitts is going to try to keep defenses honest, but Bijan's going to get a lot of seven and 8 men fronts.
mhm. I mean, I'm taking Saquon Barkley over him. I'm probably
Me
taking
too.
Jahmyr Gibbs over him. I'm taking McCaffrey over him. Um,
The thing that hurts Gibbs is that Montgomery's there, and so
yeah,
they're- they could be sort of a tandem.
right.
And last year, Gibbs had a lot of receiving yards. He had 517, but apparently Montgomery's starting to become the third down back.
Mhm, mhm.
So they're kind of reversing fields. They've kind of switched. So, but
I think if it were,
Jahmyr Gibbs does lose a lot of touches to Montgomery, who's very competent
are
back.
you taking Bijan Robinson or are you taking Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, me too. So again, I'm confused. Guys, drop us a comment why you think Bijan Robinson is ranked so high this year in terms of fantasy prospects. Again, I'm not ripping on him. I think he's a great
Me either.
prospect.
He's
Would,
great.
would I take him at around sixth or seventh back? Yes, absolutely. But I think he's way too high here, just
I'd
personally.
I'd probably put him at like fifth back,
Yeah, fifth or sixth,
fifth
something like
running
that.
back. I would take Saquon over him, Gibbs, McCaffrey,
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry, and then him, and
Yeah,
then
I think so.
Shane
Yeah,
and
Shane, Ashton Genty.
Genty for sure.
Yeah.
He'll get a lot of carries.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into Bucky Irving, Josh
But Bucky
Jacobs,
Irving's a really productive player. So if you get
yeah,
him, you can be pretty happy. So,
Kyron
so,
Williams.
so number
I
three
was,
is
I was looking at.
Justin Jefferson.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was looking at stats on Kyron Williams, and he really didn't have very much receiving yardage.
Mm-hmm.
He's just really a running back. So, you know, that
Right.
that kind of hurts you in modern NFL that wants to throw the ball a lot. In that, if you're in there and they know you're not going to flare out and be much of a receiver.
Mm-hmm. So number three is Justin Jefferson from Minnesota. He's right there nipping at the heels, in my opinion, with Jamar Chase. I mean, I think those
Yeah.
guys are interchangeable. There is a little bit of a concern with some of his nagging injuries, including a hamstring right now. So a little concerned about him going into week 1 and week 2, but I think he'll still end up having a really great year and super productive receiver.
His numbers were considerably lower than Jamar Chase. I think
Yeah.
of Justin Jefferson as equal to Jamar Chase, but there was a substantial difference.
Mhm.
Chase had 127 receptions, 1708 yardage, and 17 touchdowns versus instead of 127 receptions, Jefferson had 103. Uh, he had 1,533 yards, so 170 less yards, and then 7 fewer touchdowns. So that's
Yeah.
you know
Yep.
he had a good season, but Chase
He
was
did.
off the chart. So as
He
of
did.
right now, Chase is the better receiver.
So fourth is Saquon Barkley. Fifth is Jahmyr Gibbs. As you can see, 3 of the top 5 are running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got CeeDee Lamb in 6. What do you think about him being the third receiver off the board?
I think I think he should be talent wise. I just think he's kind of limited in Dallas.
I think so too.
Dallas had such a bad running game last year that they became one-dimensional, and you could just pin your ears back and go after Dak.
He's still going to have a really good year, even though he's with a bad
I
team.
agree. I agree.
I think Dallas is going to win 6 games.
I
At
think
the
he
most.
belongs in that slot. I just
Mhm.
think that his team hurts him.
True.
Kind
He
of
could
like
be.
DK Metcalf all those years.
He could be
Same
up in
thing.
those top 3 talent-wise, but you're
Yeah.
right. He just has a
Same
little bit of a
thing
drag.
with Malik Neighbors. His team
Mhm.
hurts him.
Right.
Can
That's
you
right.
imagine Malik Neighbors playing with Josh Allen or with one of these guys,
Or even the 49ers or something,
Niners
One of those
or
really
the
great teams.
Ravens?
Yeah.
Like
So 7 is Christian McCaffrey. He swears that he's healthy this year. We'll see. But when he is healthy, I've actually won fantasy before with McCaffrey on my team. He can be
yeah.
that dominant. I mean,
I think those years are behind him by much. I think
because
his
of his
window is
ability,
closing, and I think that he no longer tips the scales like that, but he can give you big games that
be-
blow the doors off your opponent.
because of his ability for a home run hitter, but also his ability to catch swing passes out of the backfield and
Yeah.
score. He
Yep.
just he ends up with a lot of points. He really does.
Yeah.
So then you got Puka Nakua, another wide receiver, Malik Neighbors, Amon St. Brown. I thought he'd be a little higher. I really did. I really like him. I'm going to be tagging him as one of my guys. He's become very
Yeah, well,
dominant in Detroit.
in a lot of the lists I'm seeing, he's 4th.
Yeah,
It's Chase,
he's really good.
Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown. So,
Mhm,
there's a lot of lists that have him 4th.
mhm. Yeah, he's super good.
Whether he's above Malik Neighbors and Puka, that's kind of subjective. I mean, I think it's really close.
Right. So then you got Ashton Genty, the
Mhm.
4th running back off the board, which really surprised me. Not sure he's going to be quite that good this year with a really bad team, but he
Yeah,
is going to
not
get
yet.
he'll get a lot of carries and he's going to have a good year. But again, I'm not sure I put him in the top 11 in the draft. But solid year. I'm a big fan, and I'm really excited to see what he does this year. Then you got Ashane for your Miami Dolphins
Let's
off the
go.
board as RB6. So that'll be a really good pick. I think they're going to try to use him more and more this year. Hopefully,
Yeah.
fingers crossed, because they haven't used him much last year. But
They don't run the ball enough.
yeah,
McDaniel has a lot of work to do on his play calling.
true. Then you got Nico Collins, has become a really great receiver in Houston. He's become C.J. Stroud's top receiver, and when
Yeah,
healthy, is
he's
one of the premier wide receivers in the league.
he's become phenomenal.
Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr., who might have been the biggest surprise last year. He was a rookie last year, and he was drafted into Jacksonville, and he just had a fantastic year, even with a bad quarterback situation. So
Before
I
you go
could
any
see.
further, Tom, did you see Juan Thornhill's hit on Brian Thomas?
No, I didn't.
Oh God, he nailed him.
Did
Made
he?
him made him drop the ball. Yeah, he really nailed him. He was
Welcome
he
to
was
the
coming
NFL.
across the middle, and Juan made sure he put his head to the side and he just hit him hard. It was a
Welcome
nice
to
hit.
the NFL. Yeah. Then you got at 15, A.J. Brown's been a premier receiver for a lot of years for Philadelphia. He's become Jalen
Yeah,
Hurts' number one receiver. Drake London in Atlanta, um, really good receiver, has had a problem getting the ball from his quarterback situation the last couple of
very
years.
consistent considering the
Yeah.
quarterback play that he's been playing with.
I'm hoping he gets more balls this year because he's a really
Yeah,
great player. Jonathan Taylor has been really banged up in camp, and they're wondering whether he's going to make week 1 or not. And he's on
he's
a
too
pretty
high of a score that he's not 17th in today's football.
and running back 7. So he's a great running back and has been a great running back for a long time, but he's
Yeah,
a little banged up and he's on a really bad team.
he slipped a
So
little and he's in a bad situation. I don't
yeah,
like it.
so I don't know. We'll see. I just see the team stacking the line against him.
Uh
So,
huh.
Josh Jacobs, who went over from the Las Vegas Raiders 2 years ago and has had a really nice run with Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
He's become Jordan Love's main guy in the backfield. Derrick Henry, who I believe is way too low on this list as
Yeah.
RB9. I'll take him in top 5 personally, but he's sitting at 19. Brock Bowers, who had a fantastic, maybe one of the greatest tight ends for a rookie ever last year.
Yeah.
He's sitting as tight end 1, and they're thinking he might go as high as 20 because he's that valuable to his team.
I think he's going to have an even bigger year this year if he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah. I mean, he is dominant. He
Yeah.
really is.
They
And
trust
then
him.
and you see if he goes, then someone's going to take McBride because he's just as good, essentially. They're both
Yeah.
incredible players.
Almost as good.
Then you got Bucky Irving, who's a really solid running back for Tampa Bay. Had a great year last year. Kyron Williams in LA. He's going to be there to take a lot of pressure off of Stafford. T. Higgins, who's the number 2 guy in Cincinnati. They're going to throw the ball out a lot this year. So I can understand why he would be chosen down in this range. And then Tyreek Hill, who used to be a top 5 guy in fantasy, but has dropped a little bit. So overall thoughts about these top 25, what guys do you have a problem with? Too high, too low?
So I think Jonathan Taylor too high. Bijan Robinson too high. Not by much, but Trey McBride, I was looking at stats. He only had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was a catching machine, but he caught 1 less than Bowers.
Yeah, but his fantasy points were dominant.
Yeah.
If you look at his
Yeah.
fantasy points
I mean,
every week. Yeah.
he's great for a tight end.
Yeah.
But
He catches the ball a lot.
The way tight ends are used, they're not comparable to receivers.
But you have to think he's going to have more touchdowns than that this year. I mean, he's just a great receiver.
Yeah, I think he's going to build on that. I think McBride is going to he has a lot of room for improvement. And he's an emphasis player, so he's certainly a huge part of their offense.
But I mean, he was getting a lot of 9-catch, 10-catch, 11-catch games all year.
No, that's what I'm saying. He got a lot of catches. He just didn't get in the end zone very often, which is weird that his team doesn't think of him as an end zone target, really. Weird.
So I think Ashton Genty is slightly too high.
Yeah, considering he's just starting out. Like, let him work his way up there.
Right. I think Derrick Henry's too low.
I would rather have Brian Thomas than Nico Collins, but not by much.
Yeah, I could see that.
Brian Thomas is one of my top favorites.
I think St. Brown is too low.
Yes.
I like him a little higher.
But, I mean, who are you going to move? Malik Neighbors?
Yes, I'd move Neighbors a little bit just because of the quarterback situation.
The way the ball is being delivered to him.
Yep. It's not a talent thing. This is pure production.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is interesting. I'm really interested to see as we get into the season and start looking at the fantasy production if this is pretty close to the top 25 guys. And this is likely what our first round is going to look like, Robbie.
Probably.
Yeah. So looking at the top 25 quarterback prospects, they've got Lamar Jackson on top, largely because he produces so many points on the ground as well. A lot of touchdowns, a lot of yards. He's essentially like a running back who plays quarterback, but can throw the ball too, and has some really good.
He's a fantasy football machine.
Everyone was saying he's Cam Newton. He's way better than Cam Newton.
He's way better than Cam Newton.
And I'm a Cam Newton fan.
He had 4,172 yards throwing, 41 touchdowns, 4 picks.
Right. I mean, people don't think he's a good thrower. He is a good thrower.
He is. 915 yards rushing.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost had 1,000 yards rushing, and he had 4,100 yards throwing.
You've had Lamar a couple times the last couple of years, haven't you? Yeah.
Yep.
So I think these top 2 I have no problem with. I think, to me, if you get Lamar or you get Josh, you are set for the year. These guys are very durable. They don't get hurt. They play really solid every week. They're always going to get you big numbers. You can count on getting 25 to 30 points a week. That's why they're so high here. And that's why I'm not going to wait till the 5th round. I guess everybody else can if they want, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So, Jaden Daniels at 3, a little surprising there, but he did have great fantasy numbers last year. Any surprise there for you, Jaden sitting at 3?
No surprise. I think he's a little high. I would knock him down about 2 spots.
I'd have him at around 5 or 6. That's where I had him. I'd put in number 3 Joe Burrow.
I'd have Burrow at number 2, Josh Allen at number 3. I would have Mahomes at number 4, and Jaden Daniels at number 5.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I might take Jaden over Patrick Mahomes. Like I said before, my theory on him is he really isn't a great fantasy quarterback, actually. I've had him before, and I end up not starting him a lot of the second half of the season. He just doesn't have the receivers that a lot of these
Yeah.
guys do. So then you got Jalen Hurts. So then you got Jalen Hurts. You got Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Bo Nix, who had a real nice rookie season last year, somewhere just below Jaden Daniels in terms of a rookie year. Baker Mayfield has had a revival in Tampa. He's been playing
Yeah.
really solid ball.
Very solid.
If you had to start him, you'd be fine. Like he
Yeah.
gets enough
That's the
production.
thing, you'll get him in the later rounds. Get him in the 5th round or something, 4th round.
Yeah.
He could be your quarterback.
Kyler Murray is very much gearing for a comeback year this year. Had a decent year last year, had some good games, but really has never put a full season together. Do you think he can this year?
I felt like last year for the first time he was actually pretty good. So yeah, I think he can. I think he took it really personally when he got ridiculed for all those clauses in his contract about how he needed to watch film to be in compliance with his contract. He was very
Mhm.
embarrassed by that. He had a big year
Mhm.
last year,
Mhm.
3,851 yards,
Mhm.
21 touchdowns, 11 picks, and
Mhm.
572 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns rushing. He
Mhm.
contributed a lot.
Right. It's true.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna have a big year this year. I just don't think his team's very good. That's been
Yeah.
held him
His team
back
will
most
lose
of
a
his
lot,
career. Yeah. Yeah. He plays well. He has big numbers sometimes, but just doesn't have a good team around him.
Mhm.
Brock Purdy at 10. You think he's gonna have a solid year? He had a little bit of a comeback to earth year last year because his team was so banged up.
Somewhat, yeah. He was sort of middle of the pack, a little above
Mhm.
average last year if you look at numbers and stuff. He contended with a lot of injuries. I mean, the Lions had a lot of injuries, but the 49ers definitely had some injuries that were hard to deal with. And Purdy did a decent job of and now he's been paid, so all that's off his mind. He's
Mhm.
not worried about security anymore. He can just go let it rip. Um, and then the year before, he was like legendary. So
Mhm.
I think Purdy is still an underrated quarterback. And
He's still got Ayuk. He's still got Kittle, who some people think's the best tight end in football. He's still got,
yeah,
Juwan Jennings. He's still got
yeah,
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey.
But he does not have Deebo Samuel, who went to the Commanders. So how do you think
Right.
that's going to hurt him? He was kind of a Swiss Army knife.
I think it'll hurt him. But they need to make some moves to change it up a little bit.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Justin Herbert sitting at 11. Caleb Williams at 12. I think that's way too high.
yeah,
As you know, I'm kind of a critic of Caleb. I think that in the end he's going to be a bust. Do I think he'll have some good games this year? Yes. Do I think he has a very good team? No.
I think the
Um,
word bust is too strong, but I'm with you. I think he's gonna be he's gonna underperform what
do
they
I think they
expect.
have a better coaching staff this year than they had last year? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And so there could be some moderate improvement there. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but that's not a guy I'm going to be looking to draft in the fantasy. Um,
He might put up some decent fantasy numbers, to be honest,
maybe,
but
maybe.
I I wouldn't bet on that team on DraftKings to go deep in the playoffs.
Mhm. And they're in
I
a
just
really tough division. I mean, just brutal division.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the
Yeah.
division's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're the worst team in their division. Like, how do you make the playoffs?
Right.
You have to
Dak
beat teams you
Prescott.
shouldn't.
Dak Prescott in Dallas, the $60 million man. What do you think his year is going to look like this year?
Hard to say. They've invested too much money in just their stars, and they're not left with a deep team.
It feels like they're going to have some good games and some bad games. They're going to be kind of up and down. I mean, I've got
Yeah.
them winning 6 games this year. I don't think they're going to be particularly good. Be
Right.
like 6-11, something like that. He
Yeah.
usually gets hurt and misses a couple games too, so we'll see how that goes. Justin Fields at 14 for New York. I don't understand that at all. I'm not sure. He's not really much of a passer. He does
You know
run the
what?
ball
Before you go
okay.
any further, I saw Justin Fields pretty high in a lot of lists that I was looking at, and I was equally stunned.
But do
You
you
know,
think that's based on anything? I mean, it has to actually be based on something, you know?
I think they're gonna let him run, and uh, you know, they got good receiving options. So, you know, I don't subscribe to it, but I can kind of understand where they're going with it. They think it's his time to take over a starting position and stay there a while and be the guy. So,
Like,
you know, maybe
would you take Kyler Murray or would you take Justin Fields?
Kyler Murray.
Would you take Kyler Murray or Jordan Love?
Jordan Love.
I would take Jordan Love too. So, like, I don't understand Caleb Williams at 12. I don't understand Justin Fields at 14, and I don't understand Jordan Love at 17. It just
I don't
seems
know.
some of these rankings are really kind of strange.
Yeah, I agree.
Drake May at 15. They're banking on him having a huge second year for New England, and everyone thinks they're going to be a lot better, and they have some good receiving options finally. Thoughts about Drake May as your starting fantasy quarterback? How would you feel about that?
I don't really like it. I don't think it's gonna happen.
I agree. I think this is too high. You know, we have strong opinions, and I think that Fields is too high, May is too high. Jared Goff might be a little low. I
Yeah.
think that Detroit's going to score a lot of points this year, and
Look at Goff's numbers from last year.
he's going to
4,000
produce a lot more.
4,629 yards with a
Right,
team that was banged up,
and
37 touchdowns, 12 interceptions.
he's the 16th ranked quarterback. I'm not
No,
buying it.
no, he's top 10.
Yeah, Jordan Love too at 17.
Yeah,
I mean, I hope he drops to 17 because that means I can pick him up. But
yeah.
man, I think this is ranked a little bit low. JJ McCarthy, Minnesota. We don't know what we're getting, so I'm okay with him here.
Question mark. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm kind of excited about the guy,
we'll see.
but
We'll see.
yeah, we'll see.
CJ Stroud, great first year, okay second year. Still made the playoffs second year, but was just kind of okay last year. Trevor Lawrence, in his comeback here, had an injury most of the season last year, so I'm not really sure what he's going to look like this year. Hadn't played football in a long time. Tua with
I
his
think he's gonna be better.
yeah, I think so too. Tua with his concussion issues has made a real point of finding ways to get rid of the ball this season. Apparently, he's not going to hold it as long. They're giving him a 2-second clock and out, 2-second clock and out, which they think is going to change the offense a little bit. You're not going to have as much bombs away. You're going to have a lot more, crossing patterns, screen passes, short routes, that kind of thing. Thoughts about Tua and the season he might have?
It's really hard to say. I think Tua. It all goes down to the offensive line staying healthy and him staying healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a good quarterback. He's extremely accurate, and he's kind of underrated in a lot of ways like that. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he gets hurt and concussions, those can hit on any play, so that's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they got Wilson for that reason as the insurance policy.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Matt Stafford with a question mark next to his name, and there's a good reason for that. He's having a lot of back issues. They think he's going to go week 1, but they're not sure tentatively how they're heading into the season with Matthew Stafford has been in the league as long as he has and has been hit as many times as he has. So do you think he can turn this around this year? Is he going to be able to get past this back issue?
It's hard to imagine how he could. Usually, you get more banged up as the season goes on. So I think that's really unfortunate news for them, but we'll see.
He'll probably be in the treatment room after every game for a long time, I would
Oh yeah,
think.
yeah.
I'm rooting for him because I like Stafford. I'm worried about him. I think he's going into the year not 100% healthy, and he's a gamer, so he's going to really give it a go. And I'm just worried he's going to get really hurt. So
He's a very brave player in that
he is.
he'll get flattened and have like a major injury, and he'll just play with like a separated shoulder just to,
Mhm. That's right.
he's been doing that since he was a rookie. So he plays hurt. He's old school. He's extremely talented and very competitive. But he's older now and not as quick, and so somebody might drill him and put
Mhm.
him out of his misery.
That's right.
But we'll see.
So next we got rookie Cam Ward, the number one pick. I have a feeling that at the end of the year we're going to think that he's way above 23. I just think that's really low,
Yeah,
but
probably.
we don't know what he's going to be, so I'm okay with him being cautious. But I think you'll see some really good production out of him. He's going to essentially be the whole heartbeat of their offense.
Yep.
He's going to get a lot of points. Michael Penix Jr., they're handing him the keys this year in Atlanta. I don't know what he's going to look like, so I'm okay keeping him lower right now until he kind of proves himself on a week-by-week basis. And then Geno Smith had a solid last 2 years, really, with Seattle. Finds himself in Las Vegas this year as the starter, and is kind of that low-end starter. I think this is about right. Might be an okay kind of backup on your fantasy team potentially.
I think if you're starting Geno Smith, you're in a little trouble.
I agree.
But yeah, like late in the season when everyone starts having bye weeks, if you got to play him a week or two, it's fine.
So any other comments here about too high, too low? I like Burrow in
Justin
3.
Herbert,
Yeah.
he had 3,800 yards, 23 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
He doesn't make mistakes.
He also doesn't have a left tackle, so yeah, there's some
No, but he does though. He has Joe Wald at left tackle.
I know, but it's not really his natural position. So
It
there's
is
some
though. He
concern
played
there.
it in college. Like he'll
Yeah.
be fine. It was nice though while they had both those guys. That was the monster when you had to face them. Probably the tallest team in football.
And they might have the best defense in football this year. They've got an
Maybe.
incredible defense.
Yeah.
And so that is going to help him a lot, I think. And
Yeah.
that he's committed to running the ball. They're going to run the ball a lot too. So,
Yeah.
I think he'll have a good year. I kind of like him where he is, 10, 11, somewhere in there. I put Burrow in 3. I put Jaden Daniels in 4. I would leave Hurts where he is, leave him at 5. Then I'd probably go Jordan Love. I know it's crazy, but I'd probably put Jordan Love at 6 and maybe Mahomes at 7, something like that.
I think Herbert is underrated because he hasn't won the big one.
Yeah.
Herbert doesn't make mistakes.
Right. What about Bo Nix? You like him there at 7?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to have a
I
good
think
team this year.
he's steady.
Yeah.
He's athletic too. He's deceptively athletic.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Got some good receivers.
Birdie's gonna have a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be pretty solid. So
Yep.
some of these
We'll
guys
see.
are gonna get hurt, so that's gonna be hard to
We'll see.
anticipate.
Any guys not on this chart you think will, at the end of the year, be up here and really surprise us? Any kind of dark horses?
Not that's not on the list. I think JJ McCarthy might have an interesting year, like decent. I think Trevor Lawrence can have a decent year.
What about like Jackson Dart? If Wilson gets hurt in
No.
week 3 or something?
I don't think so. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback one day. I just don't think he's ready in week 1. I saw him.
I'm not talking
last
week
year.
1. I'm talking if we looked at this in week 14. Is there anybody you would?
In a perfect world, he sits the whole year and then starts to play next year. I think that would be good for him and for the team.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Let the fans start calling for him and let let them, have their backup quarterback infatuation that often happens.
Let's look at the top 25 running back prospects. Bijan, of course, sitting up top. I'm still scratching my head about that one. I think he's a great back, but not even sure I have him in the top 5. I think it's really high. Jahmyr
Well,
Gibbs.
I got him in the top 5, but barely.
Okay. Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Ashton Genty, I think is a little bit too high, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
If McCaffrey stays healthy, he's a top 3 guy for me. Shane, it just literally depends. He could be a top 5 guy too if his coach will hand him the ball. It's just as simple as that.
That's right.
Derrick Henry on this particular list is much higher, and I think that's appropriate. He's sitting at 7. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is too high because Indianapolis is not good this year. Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs, Chase Brown for Cincinnati. Kyron Williams, James Cook, I think, is too low. I think he's going to be very motivated to earn that contract. So I'd have him up in the top 7 or 8. Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara's on the worst team in football. This kid Hampton for the Chargers, who comes out of UNC. I'm kind of curious. He might surprise some people this year. He might have one of those.
He's got a lot of expectations on him.
Might have one of those surprising rookie years where, people are kind of sleeping on him a little bit.
I don't know. He's pretty high in every list I've seen.
James Conner has been a top 5 type back for a long time, but this year he's at 17, largely because they brought in another great running back for him to share the load with because he's getting a little bit older. So he won't get the production this year because he has to share the ball.
He's a very good fantasy back.
Yeah, he is. He's just not as productive as he would have been when he carried all the load. Breece Hall is going to be the feature back for the Jets. Chuba Hubbard has had a real nice couple of years for Carolina. He's really kind of carried the load for them for a couple of years now, sitting at 19. I think he's a good value back if you want to back up. DeAndre Swift, pretty solid back. And David Montgomery, Aaron Jones Sr., Joe Mixon, who right now is not going to start the season. So if you did draft him, you would kind of store him as like your third back on the bench for a while. Tony Pollard, who's in his second year in Tennessee, and then Travion Henderson. And this is a really interesting name for me. I saw that the last 2 days in practice, including intra-squad practices against other teams, he's absolutely tearing it up. They say every time they swing the ball out to him, he does something huge with it, like a 40-yard gain or something.
Yeah,
I think he might be a really surprise this year.
I think so
got
too.
a lot of juice for New England.
If he can maintain his health.
So anybody too high, too low for you on this list?
Bijan a little lower. I think Saquon's number 1. Jonathan Taylor too high.
You think Jahmyr Gibbs could be in that kind of stratosphere this year, in the 2 or 3? He's going to have that kind of year for Detroit.
Yeah, I think they rotate backs, and they're going to stay fresh, and he's going to get a lot of touches.
Do you agree with me that Hampton and Travion Henderson, those 2 rookies, might have a real impact this year?
Should.
They have Travion at running back on this list, but he's really kind of like everything. He's a wide receiver. He's a running back. He's a kick returner. He's
very versatile.
Yeah, he can really do a little bit of everything. We'll see. We'll see where this comes out, but I'm a huge fan of Christian McCaffrey as well. I hope he has a huge comeback year. We'll see.
Be nice to see him just stay healthy.
Right.
He'll look great if he just stays healthy.
Right. He's so tempting to draft because I know when he's healthy what he does to your fantasy team. He's just dominant. So wide receivers, we got Jamar Chase up top, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua in 4. So he's risen all the way up the chart the last couple of years, really gotten good. Malik Neighbors, St. Brown, Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, A.J. Brown, Drake London at 10. Might be a little high. Lad McConkey, who had a really solid rookie year last year. T. Higgins, Tyreek at 13. Devontae Adams, Smith and Jigba, who really had a nice year last year and kind of announced himself to the league. Garrett Wilson's the number one guy for Justin Fields. Terry McLaurin, who's not playing until he gets a new deal. I think he will. I think this is tremendously low for him. I'd put him up at least top 10.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the best wide receivers in the league. Marvin Harrison Jr., who had a real disappointing rookie year. They're saying that he's having a hard time getting off the line in camp, even against just like number 2 DBs. So any chance that he could be in bust territory here in the next year or two?
Of course there's a chance, but I don't think it's likely. He's a talented player. He's playing on a team that doesn't throw the ball well.
He's beefed up a lot. I don't know if that helps him with speed, though.
It might help him get off the line and fight for 50-50 balls.
They're saying he's not getting off the line very well this year. I don't know. We'll see. He's pretty low compared to what we thought he was going to be last year. Mike Evans at 19, DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, his first year in Pittsburgh. Xavier Worthy had a really great rookie year last year for KC. He's become an important part of that franchise. Zay Flowers, Cortland Sutton, and Rashee Rice from Kansas City. And they just announced today he's going to play the first 4 games, and then he has his disciplinary hearing with the league. So thoughts here. Who would you put up? Who would you put down?
Pretty nice group.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I would just do little tweaks to it. This person up a few, that person down a few. Nothing major.
What are the prospects for Tyreek this year, you think?
That's hard to say. It could be terrible and it could be just incredible. So,
Is his head in the game is the question.
He seems to be humbled and it's hard to say.
But he also seems distracted. He seems very distracted by off-the-field stuff.
Yeah, seems that way.
Yeah. I'm rooting for him. I just don't know what you're getting from him this year. Any of these guys you think could have a breakout year? Maybe even the guys from 14 to 25. Any of these guys? Like you think DK Metcalf could have a resurgence in Pittsburgh potentially?
Well, I think Mike Evans is probably the most consistent receiver in this whole group. I mean, he's had how many 1,000-yard receptions? Not receptions, yards.
12 years in a row or something like that? 12 or 13 in a row. Yeah.
That's that's unbelievable.
I mean, he's putting up Hall of Fame numbers. We know that.
Yeah, he's Hall of Fame.
Yeah. There's no doubt. What about this kid Smith and Jigba? I mean, he was pretty darn good last year.
Yeah, he's
He was
good.
Geno Smith's big target.
Real good player.
Yeah, Nico Collins, if he stays healthy, really good player. It's exciting, man. This is the golden age of wide receivers, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot
It
of
might
great
be
receivers.
might be moving into the next phase, but
Yeah.
the wide receivers have been real strong.
I mean, a guy like St. Brown a year ago, nobody really knew him. Had a breakout year. Brian Thomas Jr. had the breakout year. I just know I wouldn't want to cover any of these guys.
No.
I don't know how
You
these
couldn't
DBs
cover
do it.
them.
Looking at tight ends, Brock Bowers sitting up top. You and I both agree with that. He had one of the best rookie tight end years ever. We knew he was going to be good. I think he was even better than I thought he was going to be.
Not me. Remember, I said he was the most consequential pick in that draft.
He was, and he went at number 13 as a tight end. Trey McBride, number 2, had just an otherworldly season last year for Arizona.
He had a very high volume of work.
He was basically the only consistent player. Even when Kyler Murray was out, he was still consistent. He still played well. George Kittle had a great year last year for San Francisco. Maybe the only player who did on that team. Sam Laporta really announced himself. He's sitting at 4. He's really become a consistent target. Hodkinson, obviously, really good player for Minnesota. They're going to be a good team this year. Travis Kelce in his 14th season. Really pretty amazing that he's still playing at the level he is. Njoku, become a really solid target for Cleveland. Evan Ingram, I think he could potentially be a top 5 production guy this year because Denver is going to throw the ball a lot. So I see him having a good year. Mark Andrews, when he's on the field, makes Baltimore a lot better. Tucker Kraft for Green Bay. Jake Ferguson, Dallas. He's a little bit banged up right now. They're not sure he's going to make week 1. Loveland for Chicago. He was a real nice surprise last year. A nice find.
Yeah.
For an undrafted free agent. Tyler Warren, the guy that we think might be this year's Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Coming out of Penn State. What a fantastic player he is. I'm really sad that he went to such a bad franchise because I'm not sure we're going to see his full talents this year.
Well, the good news is there'll be less pressure on him to develop, so he'll get better without, the team hinging on winning and losing.
Right. I just don't think he'll have the kind of explosive year Brock did, but maybe he will. We'll see. Dallas Goedert has become really consistent player for Philly the last couple of years. I had him on my team last year, and he was always consistent. He always got me, 12 to 15 every week.
Mm-hmm.
Dalton Kincaid, one of Buffalo's 2 great targets, along with Dalton Knox. Hunter Henry, been around for a while for New England. Kyle Pitts Sr. for Atlanta. When he was drafted like he was a wide receiver. There was a lot of hope that this prospect was going to be a top 5 tight end by now. Any thoughts about why Pitts has kind of been languishing towards the bottom here? Is it just quarterback play?
He's one of those guys that just lures you into picking him on your fantasy team, and then you regret it.
I mean, they say he runs like a wide receiver.
Yeah.
And there was all this hope that he was the next great, top 5 tight end, and it just hasn't happened. And I don't know why.
Well, his team on offense just has let him down a lot.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins couldn't give him the ball last year. I don't know why. He's a huge target.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz had a unbelievable comeback year last year for Washington. I mean, nobody saw that year coming that he had. He and Jaden Daniels have a nice connection.
Yeah.
So I'd be very comfortable with him on my team this year. Okonkwo for Tennessee is a real promising player. Could be a really good player for Cam Ward. Jonnu Smith, who I wish was still on Miami, but is not.
Yeah, me too.
I thought he was probably the best Dolphin last year. He's on Pittsburgh this year. But Miami brings out of retirement Darren Waller. So we'll see if he can do anything for Miami this year. Gesicki, who used to be a Dolphin with Cincinnati now. Brenton Strange with Jacksonville. Pat Freiermuth with Pittsburgh. And then Cade Otton has been a solid option at Tampa Bay. So anybody you see too high, too low here?
No, I think that's a pretty good list. You could tweak it a little, one person up or down a little, but not much. It's pretty close to right on.
I think it's close. I'm actually okay with the top 6 for sure. I think that's how I would rank them. I might put Andrews at 7. I think he's that good. And then I think Zach Ertz is too low here. I think he's become such an incredible, valuable member of that really high-powered offense that I think he's going to have a really productive year. Although he will be sharing snaps with Ben Sinnott, so
yeah. You
and
can
then
work
maybe
2 tight end packages pretty easily, though.
Right, that's true. That's true. And that's probably all I'd change. I think everybody else is pretty close. This has become a much more important position, wouldn't you say? I mean, every team who goes deep in the playoffs has a really great pass catching play.
I did a segment in one of our episodes, was it last year or the year before, where it talked about no Super Bowl champion has
Yes, you did.
won without a superstar tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And they went back, all the way through the Brady years, and
Mm-hmm. It's true.
pretty
Very
impressive.
true. Well, when you look at all the different elements you need for a championship team, great defense, you need a top 10 defense, you need a top 10 offense, you need a running back, you need a top 5
You need a
quarterback,
great quarterback. Yeah.
and then you need really a top 5 tight end. I mean, that's what all of
Yeah.
them have had. Yeah.
Yep.
The Travis Kelce's of the world. Looking at the kicker prospects, Jake Bates is a pretty well consensus best kicker for Detroit. Also, I really like that he kicks indoors most of the time. I'm a big fan of getting guys that are not going to kick in the elements, because you get into late October, November, it's raining, it's sleeting. So I like these guys. Even like Cameron Dicker, he also kicks indoors. Brandon Arbery kicks indoors. So all those top 3 guys would be very high on my list. Chase McLaughlin with Tampa. Harrison Butker's been very consistent in terms of his kicks. Jake Elliott with Philly, really great kicker. Tyler Bass. Chris Boswell with Pittsburgh. Jason Sanders for the Dolphins. Fairburn with Houston. Tyler Loop. He's been really, really hot with the fans in Baltimore. They really love this kid, Loop. Cairo Santos with Chicago, used to be on the Panthers. Joshua Carty with the Rams. Will Lutz, he's the Denver kicker. Matt Gay is a real good, solid kicker for Washington this year. Evan McPherson, Brandon McManus. Koo with Atlanta, he's been their kicker. This is his 4th season now. Jason Myers, real solid kicker with Seattle. And then Will Richard with Minnesota. So curious what you think of this list, how they're ranked, and then also, when do you typically like to get your kicker in the draft? Do you wait till those last?
I get mine right at the end.
You do like last 2 or 3 rounds?
Yeah.
See, I don't wait for that anymore. When I feel like I've got enough depth, I'm picking them in.
You can't ever have enough depth.
Like around the 14th or 15th, I'll pick them, because I want to get one of these top 3 guys that kicks indoors.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just me. But any other problems with this?
No, I think that list is pretty solid. I've actually heard of most of these players.
You notice Cam Little is not on this list, but I think a lot of people will draft him purely because of his 70-yard kick, even though it was in a preseason game.
It was still money with people chasing in and trying to block it.
He's a new guy on the scene. Not many people know about Cam Little, but now they do after that kick. So
yeah,
you'll probably see him get drafted.
Yeah.
Defense prospects. So in fantasy, you pick the defense, not a defensive player. And as you see here, they've got the Ravens as the preseason number 1. Texans, Broncos. We know the Broncos will be stout. Eagles have a really great defense, and they just keep getting better and better. Every time they draft a new prospect, I just think to myself, goodness, how good can this team be? The Vikings have a really good defense. The Steel Curtain, Packers, Patriots, Lions, Seahawks, Jets, Bills, Chiefs, Buccaneers, Dolphins, Chargers, Cardinals, Colts, 49ers, and Rams. So that's your list. Anybody obvious to you, too high, too low?
I like the Vikings D a lot.
I think the Chiefs are way too low. They always prove themselves.
Lions D this year is going to be better than that.
Yeah, I think Lions are too low. I think Chiefs are too low. I think Chargers are too low. Chargers are going to be a really good defense. So I think those 3 teams are definitely too low. I think Packers are too high. I put them down a little bit. And maybe 49ers might be too low. I think a pretty
Yeah, I
good
think
chance.
17 or 19 for the Niners is a little low.
Yeah, I
They're
think so
probably
too.
right around 10 or 11,
Right. I would agree.
but
So some of these teams that are too low, I mean, if this is how they think they're ranked, then you can maybe get them at a really good value in a late
get a
round.
good value, yeah.
Yeah. Go get yourself the Chiefs in like 14th round or something. Be in good shape.
Yeah.
So these are our rookie prospects this year. Ashton Genty's the number 1 rookie prospect. That was pretty interesting to me. Hampton, number 2. What do you think about the top 2 rookies being running backs?
I don't think Hampton should be that high, but uh,
Mm.
I think I'd rather have Trevion Henderson than Hampton.
Right. I thought it
Um,
was really exciting to see the number 3 guy for Carolina. Of course, I'm rooting for this guy. You see him there to the right. That's Ted McMillan. A
I
lot of
think
people think
Egbuka is gonna have a big year if he can stay healthy.
Buka. Yeah,
I
Travis
really
Hunter.
like I really like Cam Ward.
What do you think about Travis Hunter, number 4 here? That was kind
He's
of
an
interesting.
exciting player. I don't know about what kind of numbers he's going to do, but he's definitely going to make the stadium full. You know.
And everyone's going to want to watch him on TV. He's just
Yeah.
exciting. He's like a Dion, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Trevion Henderson at 5. I mean, there's no question in watching him the last couple of weeks, he's going to have an impact
Yeah.
on New England.
Oh yeah.
Judkins was a great back in college. He's with Cleveland. He's at
He was
6.
uh, he was Henderson's teammate.
Yeah, you got the guys back to back there. Matthew Golden with Green Bay is 7. Loveland with Chicago at 8. Tyler Warren at 9. Egbuka, your guy, at 10. I think
Yeah.
he'll have a big year because they have some receivers that are banged up right now. RJ Harvey with Denver at 11. Luther Burden the third with Chicago. Cam Ward, 13 with Tennessee. I was a little surprised not to see him in the top 10. He's going to really carry that offense. Caleb Johnson, Pittsburgh. Trey Harris with the Chargers. Higgins with Houston. Jack Beck, he's a wide receiver with Las Vegas. Tootin, I know he was one of the guys you really liked coming out of Virginia Tech with the
Yeah,
Chargers.
he's a good back.
Question is, will he get any carries this year? Will he get enough carries to really produce? Because he's the backup. And
Hard to say. Hard to say.
you got Cam Scattaboo at 19 with the Giants.
I think he's going to find his way into the lineup.
I do too. I think he's
The
kind of a
way he
kind of
works
guy.
hard.
Don't you think he's the kind of guy you'd get in a late draft round and kind of pull him in and put him on your bench for a while? It might take him a couple weeks to work himself in, but then you start seeing some numbers from him. You can insert him into your lineup.
Yeah, you can't put enough value on the kind of work that he does
Mm-hmm.
and the intensity that he brings to a team.
That's right.
He's on a bad team, but you know what? They're gonna be better because he's there. It's real
Mm-hmm.
simple.
That's true. Then you got Kyle Williams, Pat Bryant, Savion Williams, Mason Taylor, really good tight end prospect, Arroyo, and then Terrence Ferguson for LA Rams.
Yeah.
Anybody here you think too low, too high?
I don't know. It's hard with rookies. I mean, a lot even gets determined just by how much opportunity they're given. But there's a lot of these that have looked good in camp. Warren, Egbuka. Uh, I heard some things about Golden.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, I said this. This was a really good draft. It just wasn't heavy in quarterbacks.
I think Igbuka's a little too low. I think Cam Ward's a little bit too low.
Yeah.
And maybe Cam Scattaboo. I mean, maybe he's a top 15 type guy, especially second half of the year when he starts getting some carries.
Yeah.
So,
He's gonna run
and then,
hard. I'll tell you that.
and I tell you, just watching Travion Henderson, man, I'm a fan. I love what he's doing.
Yeah.
He plays every position on the field. It's crazy, except quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a McCaffrey.
So looking at our league, man, this is on Yahoo Sports. We're called Ground and Air Attack. I looked, and this is our 8th season in Ground and Air Attack, Robbie.
Nice.
So your team name is Pulling Guards. So talk to us about that. How did you choose that team name?
I don't know. I love smash mouth football, running the ball, and I think when you pull your guards, you can really overload a side and just demolish teams trying to come up and stop the run. So I love pulling guards.
I like the concept of pulling guards. You know, the guy pulls and smashes the outside linebacker and opens
Who thinks I'm going into a gap? I'm going to get a free shot. Oh no!
Yeah.
Here comes
Either the outside linebacker, or sometimes he'll take the middle linebacker and just pry that hole open.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a cool name. I did keep pounding. Of course, that's the statement that Panther fans say. That's the mantra for the Panthers. So our draft is September 3rd. It's a Wednesday night. So thoughts about what prep work you got to do to get all your teams ready?
Well, I've got to get the boys up to speed on a lot of these players. And I just need to keep digging in and being aware of injuries and continuing to see which rookies are slowly shining. They're given the playbook, but they're not really given the playbook until they can, protect and run the right routes and all that stuff. So they just slowly earn their spot, and to see who takes steps forward this year and who takes steps backwards. Are there any teams that are going to get worse? Probably.
I think so. We shall see, man. I am so excited for this draft. I'm so excited for the season to start.
Me
This
too.
draft will be the night before the first game, which is a Thursday night game. So we're going to be so geeked up at that point.
We're going to be watching a lot of football, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. And that'll be my 4th draft. So it'll be kind of good. The first 3 drafts will be before that one. So I'll have a little bit of practice on what I did right, did wrong, etc. So, all right, man. Final thoughts as we head into fantasy football season and get ready for our draft.
Tell you, final thoughts. It's so funny watching how creative everybody gets with their team names and their logos and all the different hijinks that people get into. You'll go to a sports bar and people rent out those little private rooms where they have their draft and it's up on the screen. It's really cool.
I love that.
I love it too. One thing that's sort of a new trend, not new, but relatively new trend, is the punishment for the loser. And it's so funny. Some of the punishments nowadays that are being dealt out. And I think it adds a little more juice to an already really cool league concept. And I just wanted to read a couple of the top 10 funniest, punishments for the league loser. So a couple of them here. 24 hours straight in a Waffle House. Because the Waffle House is never closed.
Right.
So finding a way to just stay.
That's for the loser?
The loser, yeah.
That sounds like a winner for me. I don't know.
Stay at a Waffle House for 24 straight hours. Order, take them out and order them like death hot wings. Like make them eat a ridiculous wings. Bring some milk and some bread. They can do their best to survive. Some of them have physical skills challenges. I saw a hilarious thing where this guy had to enter a wrestling tournament, and he had to wear a leotard that had "I suck at fantasy football" on it, and he had never wrestled before, and it was the funniest thing watching this guy get pinned by real wrestlers. Somehow this guy was in this tournament, and that was hilarious. And you could tell that
he had no chance.
He was put in very compromising positions, and it was hilarious. Everyone was just laughing their heads off. So that was funny. There's you have to take the SAT.
Okay, that is a punishment.
How would that be? I mean, God, You take the SAT.
That's a good one.
There's the disgusting drink challenge. I mean, that could go in any direction, really. But there's that. There's make them survive a disgusting drink.
That's some good
Um,
ones.
yeah, there's wear a diaper, a bonnet, and have a pacifier. Go out in public. So there's
Mm,
that. There's the humiliation there. There's go on a date with a blow up doll,
mm.
which is funny, and it will give you a lot of looks, and you'll be real embarrassed. There's cringy social media. There's all these weird things that you have to post and pictures of whatever. But um,
Too funny.
there's they make stickers. You can make them put it on their car and drive it around for a month. And there's different trophies for the last place. So there's the golden toilet trophy, and there's
Right.
different stuff. So
Because
anyway,
our trophy that we have for first place is really great, and we have a
yeah,
second place trophy too.
yeah,
Those are
and
really great, and so but we haven't thought about doing the last place one. Maybe we should think about it.
yeah, like a golden toilet.
Mhm.
Maybe. Although if one of the boys got it, they
Like,
never lose.
in the acting, you got the Academy Awards and all that, and then you
Yeah,
also
you
have
get the
the
Razzies.
Razzies. Yeah, you could do the Razzies for fantasy
Yeah.
football.
So I came across that list. I've seen a bunch of lists of things on how to humiliate the worst person in your league. It's usually somebody who didn't pay attention. So, um,
So do you like
but
a
yeah,
more serious league that's really into it and they're cutthroat and all that? Do you like a more chill league? Do you like it somewhere in between where it's not so serious, but it's a little bit competitive?
I like it
What
competitive, but not very serious. But I'll get in there with serious groups too. I think it's fun when it's light pressure, and if you're going head to head with somebody that you actually like and you lose to them, you're not that upset.
Mhm. I like that we have a trophy. I really think it's something to chase after, and
Yeah,
I like that our league is at least somewhat competitive at the top. I mean,
yeah.
there you can feel the juice. You want that. You don't want it to be so casual. So,
You want competition, you want competitiveness, and I'm sure most of our listeners out there definitely have that in their life. Of if you do fantasy football, I'm sure you take it pretty seriously, and I can understand why. It's a lot of fun,
mhm,
but it is it's a competitive situation. You want to compete just like these guys are competing out there for their
mhm,
livelihoods. This is there's a little bit of bragging rights that goes with it, and you can really have a good time and give people the razzing. So you can hit them with one of these 10 on this list, or come up with your own. There's a hundred more things you could do that are hilarious,
mhm.
and make it something you don't want to be last.
It's true.
Definitely don't be last.
Very true. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight on our fantasy football preview show. As you can see, we are geeked up for the season. We're geeked up for fantasy football, get all our leagues going. Uh, we encourage you to enjoy a league and join one. We encourage you to get in, join a league, one of these great groups you can see behind me that you can get into. Most of them are free. If you want to do it for money, you can do it on DraftKings, our sponsor for tonight. But
Absolutely.
just have fun with it. Get your friends involved, get your family involved, and just have a blast. And it makes the viewing experience much better for this great sport.
Yeah, the majority of our listeners probably do this consistently and all the every year, but there are probably some people who are going to come across it who have never tried it, and just for one reason or another, I challenge you to try it. Give it a shot. Jump into a league and see how much more fun and interesting some of these games are. If you watch the Colts against the Giants, if you're in those two markets, you're going to tune in and really put some passion into it. But if you have a couple players going and your whole season's hinging on this game, all of a sudden that game takes on tremendous importance. So I'd like for everybody out there to give that a chance and give that a try and see what the hype is about and why it's getting stronger and stronger, because the reality of games that are happening can influence the league that you build, and you can compete too, and it's fun. So
And drop us a comment if you guys would like us to start a Sports Guys fantasy league. We could start a new league. It could be a free entry league, and we could, you know, basically add the first 10 people that email us and tell us they want to be in the league. So that'd be kind of a cool idea. What do you think, Robbie?
yeah, who knows? I'm
We could
open to
play.
anything.
we can play against our viewers and see how it goes. So drop us a comment if that'd be something you guys would be interested in.
Yeah, be good.
All right, guys. Well, have a great night.
And one other thing, let's go Dolphins.
Let's go Dolphins. Yeah, let's go Panthers. Guys, have a great night, and we'll see you next time on the Sports Guys.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. Take care.